Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adira Rahmi, a psychology student from BINUS University Indonesia. I would like to present our research entitled Implementing Differentiated Instruction Techniques to Improve Learning in Biopsychology course for the ICComSET 2021 on 22 December 2021. This research was conducted by our team. The authors of this research are me, Adira Rahmi Febrianti Simangunsong, Galesta Aska Maura Dewi, Yasmin Nadia, Evi Afifah Huriati, Aryo Edi Nugroho, and Pinkan Cynthia Belinda Rumondor. Before I begin the presentation, I would like to let you know the content of this presentation. The first one is introduction, the second one is methodology, the third one is results, the fourth is discussion and conclusion, the fifth is acknowledgement, and the last is references. Introduction. Biopsychology is one of the compulsory courses at BINUS University. This course is for the first-year psychology students where they will be introduced to the biological foundation to basic human functioning as well as a variety of complex behavior. Upon completion of this course, students would be able to explain biological bases related to vision, hearing, movement, motivation, emotion, sleep and consciousness, intelligence and cognitive function, and some psychological disorders. Biopsychology is crucial to learn because it is the basis for learning the next courses such as clinical psychology, counseling, and etc. Knowing the importance of biopsychology, students are expected to have a good understanding of this course, but the students seem to have difficulties in learning biopsychology. In fact, the self-evaluation report data from the Department of Psychology BINUS University shows that the achievement of learning outcomes in biopsychology course is still below average. The data indicates that the students have difficulty understanding the material presented in the class. Therefore, it's necessary to know how students perceive material related to biopsychology. The students' perception is needed for the lecturers to decide a learning strategy to improve their understanding. The biopsychology course at BINUS University is taught to first-year students who usually have just graduated from high school. In high school, they have not received any biopsychology material. However, some of them have studied biology subject. Biology has also been studied since elementary school to junior high school and has become a subject in science major. Biology is one of the elective subjects in the curriculum 2013 and was introduced in high school or vocational high school. Basically, in junior high school, students have also studied biology in integrated science, where it includes 3 subjects, specifically physics, biology, and chemistry. Furthermore, in elementary school, biology has also been introduced in a simple way. Biology is closely related to biopsychology, that in biology, the students get to learn about the structures and functions of body parts. And in biopsychology, as explained before, the students get to learn about the basics of biology. Therefore, knowing students' perception of biology is needed to research. In the research measure of effective teaching project 2010, it's found that students' perception of the challenge given by the teacher have a positive correlation with students' learning outcomes. In addition, students' perception of a subject, whether the subject is considered interesting or not, can affect students' learning outcomes. To improve the quality of students' learning outcomes in the biopsychology course, a change in learning strategies is needed. In this case, students' learning outcomes can be improved by self-regulated learning. Self-regulated learning is the ability of students to understand and control their learning environment. Students with self-regulated learning abilities can complete and evaluate their performance when doing some task, job, or assignment. Self-regulated learning depends on students' judgment of learning or JOL and mental effort or ME. According to Korea, 1997, judgment of learning is a subjective assessment made by students at the end of learning about the possibility of remembering the information they get on tests that require memory skills. When students monitor their learning, their judgment is based on whatever information they have. They use the information to predict their current learning ability. Self-regulated learning is affected by the accuracy of students' JOL and how the JOL is used to form an effective learning strategy. Besides JOL, another variable that affects students' self-regulated learning is mental effort. According to Pass et al. 2003, mental effort is students' cognitive capacity that is allocated to accommodate that the demands they met when doing some tasks. When students are faced with some tasks, they will consider the effort they give to make the task successful. For example, they will consider whether the effort they put in is worth the result they will get. In this case, the level of difficulty and challenge in accomplishing a task must be considered to balance the needs and abilities of students. This can result in students' improved mental effort and self-regulated learning abilities without making them feel stressed or anxious. Instructional design is one of the ways to manipulate JOL and ME. Students can have an accurate JOL if it's given an instructional support. Similar to JOL, instructional design also correlates to students' ME level and performance, which has an impact on their learning outcomes. Instructional design can be done by implementing differentiated instruction or DI. According to Tomlinson, 2009, differentiated instruction is defined as a teaching philosophy that refers to the premise in which the best students' learning process can occur when the teachers can accommodate and adjust differences in the level of readiness, interest, and learning profile of each student in learning activities. One of the I strategies used is to find out the readiness of students. Readiness can include the ability and prior knowledge of students on the material subject that they will learn. Information about students' readiness is needed by teachers to innovate learning material with the right level of difficulty for students. In this case, information about students' readiness can be known by using the pretesting method. Methodology. This research used three questionnaires. The first is the perception and learning strategies. The second is weekly journal that given periodically to measure ME and JOL. And the third is pretesting. Students will be sent three unique links through their email that contains the three questionnaires. The perception and learning strategy questionnaire is consisted of questions about demographics, cell phone specification, prior knowledge of biology, and the Motivated Strategies for Learning Questionnaire or MSLQ. The estimated questionnaire can be completed in approximately 20 minutes. Students will fill out the Learning Strategies questionnaire 3 times. The first one is in the first week of class, second after the middle term exam, and third after the final exam semester. During the biopsychology course, students will be given an intervention, that is the pretesting method, at certain sessions. On session 1 and 2, there is no intervention, and on season 3 until 5, there is a pretesting intervention with biopsychology questions. At the end of each session from week 1 until 5, students will fill out the ME and JOL questionnaires. They can fill out these questionnaires 5 times at the end of each session. Students are also given a reminder through their email to fill out the questionnaire link every week. The participants of this research were 360 first-year psychology students of BINUS University. The data of this research was collected by online questionnaire through LAMP survey. Those questionnaires include the Perception and Learning Strategy questionnaire, ME and JOL weekly journals, and pretesting. The learning strategies questionnaire include demographics and MSLQ questions, consisting of 81 items. Furthermore, the ME and JOL weekly journal questionnaire includes a weekly report on students' effort and confidence according to the learning materials on each week. Meanwhile, the pretesting questionnaire includes assessments questions regarding biopsychology material from the third until fifth week of sessions. Then, all of the data was analyzed using cross-tabulation and paired sample t-test to see the difference between ME and JOL before the intervention and during intervention. By comparing the average ME and JOL scores on week 1 and 2 with the average ME and JOL scores on week 3 until week 5. Results. From the 360 first-year psychology students of BINUS University, the amount of students who fill out the questionnaire completely is 260 students. From the perception and learning style questionnaires, the data that further analyzed was perception and demographic data. Data from MSLQ was not analyzed further because there was only a few students who completed the questionnaire. Referring to the database on their previous school, which consisted of SMA or high school, SMK or vocational high school, and others, that is MA or MA, and Pondok Pesantren, Selansa, and homeschooling. The results that have been analyzed are: first, a total of 203 respondents, or 93.98, came from high school. Second, 7 respondents, or 3.24%, came from SMK. And third, 6 other respondents, or 2.77%, came from other types of school or others. Furthermore, the amount of data refers to the previous school majors consisting of science or IPA, social science or IPS, and others, that is nursing, accounting, language, software engineering, computer network engineering, and office administration automation. Based on the analyzed results are: first, a total of 135 respondents, or 62.5%, came from science majors or IPA. Second, a total of 73 other respondent, or 33.79%, came from social science majors or IPS, while 7 other respondents with amount 3.24% came from other majors. This data refers that students were divided into 4 groups based on their perceptions of biology. 37 students considered biology as an interesting and easy subject, or as many as 17.12% students. 168 students, or 77.77%, considered biology as an interesting but challenging subject. 7 students considered biology as an interesting or challenging subject, as many as 3.24% students. And students who consider biology as an uninteresting but easy subject, as many as 4 students, or 1.85% students. The result of the cross-tabulation analysis found that the majority of participants perceived biology as an interesting but challenging subject. From 216 participants, the perception that biology is an interesting but challenging subject is mostly owned by participants from science major. Interestingly, even though participants who came from the social science major did not get a biology subject in high school, but the majority of them perceive biology as an interesting but challenging subject. There were a total of 36 students who participated in the learning before the intervention and during the intervention. We measured their ME and JOL scores before and during the intervention using a paired sample t-test. From these tables, we found that uh, there was no significant difference in the students' ME score for before the intervention and during the intervention condition. This suggests that pretesting method has not had an impact on increasing ME of the biopsychology class students. We also found there was no significant difference in the students' JOL score for before the intervention and during the intervention condition. This also suggests that pretesting method or the intervention has not had an impact on increasing JOL of the biopsychology class students. Discussion and conclusion. In conclusion, the results of the research found that most students perceive biology as an interesting but challenging subject. The students' perception of biology can confirm that the biopsychology course may also be considered challenging by students because of the closeness between biology and biopsychology. Furthermore, the challenge and difficulty that students face in studying a biopsychology course need to be considered in future biopsychology course. It should be considered because it could affect the achievement of students' learning outcomes. In addition, the application of the pretesting intervention has not had an impact on changes in students' JOL and ME. This can be caused by several limitations and obstacles. First, this research was originally intended for 360 first-year psychology students at BINUS University who are taking biopsychology course. However, only 260 students completed the perception questionnaire and only 36 students completed the JOL and ME questionnaire for session 1 till 5 sequentially. Second, there is limited time in applying the DI learning model. The preparation and implementation of DI require lots of time and effort, but in this research, the faculty members only have 5 months to learn about DI and prepare the application of DI in the biopsychology course at the same time. Third, the application of DI may not be able to have a significant impact on changes in student ME and JOL. This could be caused by the pretesting method that had not been used optimally. As previously mentioned, the pretesting method can be used to develop innovative learning materials that are appropriate for students. In the DI intervention, pretesting was intended to help students reflect on their learning. However, the information obtained from the pretesting has not been used by the faculty members to develop learning strategies for the following week. Last, from the result and discussion explained before, we suggest that further research about the implementation of DI that can integrate the pretesting method with other DI method is needed. Acknowledgement. We would like to thank the Ministry of Education and Culture for supporting this research by funding the program Kompetisi Kampus Merdeka or PKKM grant and Wisnu Wiradani SCMA, the head lecturer of biopsychology course, for reviewing the initial draft of this research and supporting this research. These are the references that we use on this paper. Before ending this presentation, the authors would like to thank all first-year psychology students from BINUS University who voluntarily participated and provided valuable information during the data collection. We also would like to thank the ICComSET committee for giving us information and providing opportunity to present our paper. Last, for the audience, thank you very much for listening to to this presentation. It is much appreciated. I would like to wish you all the best. Take care and stay safe. Have a good day.